Are you ready to create a life you crave? Let's spin that doom loop of negativity into an upward success cycle and start living lucky.
Good morning.
I'm Jana.
I'm Jason.
And we are living lucky.
You are too.
We got new phones.
Start spreading the word.
No, I've literally needed a new phone for probably 2 years at least. I'm like so far back. In fact, our friend came over and she was like, "Oh yeah, you're the camera right now. You can do this little setting
Yeah,
and
just set it on cinema.
Yeah, set it on cinema setting, and your pictures will just look professional." And I was like, "What are you even talking about?" Because I don't think I have that. And so I pulled out my phone. She says, "Oh my God, Jana, what model do you have?"
And why do I have to flip it open?
Stop. So my phone is really outdated. Okay. I will just tell you that my phone is so outdated. Jason has a couple models ahead of me. However, yours is outdated too.
And mine was outdated too. I didn't even realize how many models ahead we were because it was working. It was useful.
And if we don't adapt, guess what happens?
We just fall behind.
No, we become the dinosaurs.
Well,
and you know their outcome.
Extinct.
That's what happens when you don't adapt. The world is changing constantly. So if you don't change with it,
I think that's one of the
we get left behind.
That's one of the beautiful things when they talk about you're either growing or you're dying, right?
Yes.
It's not necessarily that keeping up with the Joneses or anything like that, but incremental improvement every day is something important and intentional.
Because I'm going to tell you something. When Jason brought up just an idea, it was an idea fart. Maybe we should go get new phones. I went, no, I don't want a new phone. I don't want a new phone. I don't want a new car. You know why? Because it takes too long. I don't want a new computer. It takes too long for me to get it to where I like it.
To learn it, adapt it, get comfortable with it.
Because there's always new buttons. Then they want all your passwords and then, the settings. I got it now to where it works for me. I know where everything is.
Fits like a glove. It's easy.
An old worn out glove.
Yeah. And it suits the purposes. And the thing is, there's so many more things it can do. There's so much more capability, just like people, right?
But that takes time and energy to figure all of that out. And there is a learning curve.
And I just got goosebumps because just like people, we have so much capacity and capability, and if we continue to just have that incremental improvement every day, we increase both.
Oh my gosh. You just gave me an aha moment because I really feel when we started accelerating our life in all directions was when we read the book Fixed Mindset versus Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck, something like that. I know she went to the University of Illinois.
I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, but I feel like that was it.
And that book in particular, the first half of that book, she talks about a growth mindset. And that really is when it all clicked for me. Like, oh my gosh, there's some areas in my life where I have developed a fixed mindset because I think that I'm already the expert.
And sometimes we don't even recognize it. And even if we don't think we're the expert, we just don't look there because
we don't think we're capable, or we don't think that's our strength, or we don't think that we have talent.
It's just a closed door.
Yeah, so we close the door. It's like me walking. I had closed that door, a fixed mindset. In fact, I've even made it part of my identity. You know what? I've been in this chair for 34 years. I am the expert on the planet when it comes to how to be a paraplegic, how to overcome obstacles.
And the beautiful thing about that is that it opened so many other doors, but there's no need to have that door completely shut if there's something in your soul pulling you to it.
Yes. And so if you're wondering what we're even talking about,
listen to
the last episode about scuba gym and me walking again, because that's been a huge turning point. in Jason in my life.
Yeah.
But back to the phones. So Jason says, I'm going to the store. I'm getting us new phones. I was like, okay, good luck with that. I'm staying home and working on crafts.
You do you, boo.
Right? Here's my phone. Just take it. He's like, I may be gone for a while. Are you going to be okay?
You're going to be okay without your phone for several hours?
I've got lots to do here.
And there's a question in itself, because who's going to be okay without their phone for several hours? Because I don't think a lot of people think about that. And even when I got there and they were like, there were several questions and I was like, let me just call her.
And you're like, wait,
and I was like, oh, wait, I've got her phone. And if she's not literally sitting next to her computer, she can't answer on her computer. I can't text her on her computer. So there was a lot of recognition in me while I was
of how dependent
with someone at the Apple store saying, okay, well, I've lost connection if I'm not connected to my phone and she's not connected to her phone. How do I get information back and forth between my wife and myself?
That is so interesting. I mean, this is taking it in another direction, our whole conversation, but we have become, we think that we're more connected, but in so many ways, we have lost the ability to be disconnected, which makes us dependent. It's not connected, we're dependent. We're dependent.
Well, I remember when I was in my youth, I could probably rattle off 20, 30 phone numbers of all my friends.
Oh, I know.
I didn't carry around a little notepad with passwords and phone numbers to try to remember all my, like, who I wanted to go bike riding with, who I wanted to go out with, who, like, all these things. It was just dial it. Go to the kitchen, lift the phone off the receiver and start dialing.
That's so true. I could too.
And right now, I remember your phone number.
I remember yours.
I remember
too.
my phone number from when I was a kid.
That's what's going on in my head. I'm like, do I remember
I remember my home address when I was a kid.
Oh, wait, you remember the phone number. Do you remember the area code?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, because where I grew up, we changed to 10 digits when I was like 9.
Mine was 913-527-5795.
Well, now everyone knows.
But it's no longer in service. So,
got to pay that bill.
I always found it interesting in movies where they would always start with
555 1212. God, how many people have that phone number?
Right. And then the whole My Sharona, there was like 8675309. How many times did we dial that number? Okay, so back to phones and adapting. I will say that Jason was gone for many hours.
It was probably 4 hours.
So there was a process.
There was data transfer, purchasing,
making sure your apps show up.
Amex doesn't like it when you do. We had to do both phones on separate invoices because of something with the way Apple does things.
Oh my gosh.
Because they were both on the same account with our phone provider. So the way Apple did it, and Amex saw 2 identical charges and they declined the second one. So that was a whole issue.
Oh my gosh.
So
wow.
I'll be having that discussion with them because they weren't available to help. And usually they're great about that.
Oh, no.
So there were a lot of things, but the other thing is...
There's a lot of logistics.
A lot of things that would have bothered me before. Everything was good. You know what? It was hey, there's a reason all this is happening. And what is great about this?
What's great about this? That's how you.
And it was amazing.
Instead of using the F word, we say it's fascinating.
My mentality through the whole thing. I mean, if you've ever been to the Apple store at the Mall of Millennia in Orlando, there's something about that store that draws people in.
People are in line all the way down the mall.
Yeah, and they're right now doing these Apple Vision, the goggles, which are incredible.
I feel like I need that. I don't even know what they are.
I saw somebody had them at this group that I was in, and I was like, "Wow, that's pretty crazy and incredible."
Huh.
And we should try them out, maybe for an episode. On the TV show. So it'll be we will try them out for an episode because I think if we can figure out how to transfer it to television, but there were so many people trying those out, and the lines were incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, that would used to frustrate me,
I
like
know,
like
right?
traffic on I-4. But I was peaceful, calm, all these things that just were amazing because
and
of
that probably helped your whole overall experience, because the minute we buy into the frustration, the worry, the overwhelm, the chaos of it all, the oh my gosh, there's way too many people in here. The minute we buy into those thoughts and feelings, guess what we experience even more of?
Yeah, we start telling that story and we create that narrative. We create more of that narrative. And everything was about, you know what? There's a reason for this. It's a beautiful experience and I love it. I was literally loving every part about it. And
I'm so proud of you.
And it didn't matter what was happening because I was there for a purpose.
I loved the part that I got to stay home and not deal with it.
And I was like, and Jana has time to do the things that she needs to do, because you had editing to do, you had dresses to make.
I was working on our dance recital,
costumes,
which is coming up. Anyway, so let's
stay on topic.
Yeah, but
the
that
newness.
is. So he comes home then, and he has these 2 new phones, and I know that anyone listening to this can relate to this, because now we have a learning curve of new technology. There's a learning curve of even getting the settings right so that the font is the right size and the brightness is correct. And then
the passwords.
I mean, we have every light in the house is hooked to our phones, which was another thing when you were gone. I couldn't turn the lights on and off. We have our temperature. We have a lot of house settings that are set to our phone. We have a lot of passwords, like you said. I was trying to trade stocks, and a lot of my, I would try to get on
platforms,
and they were like,
mobile app.
Wait, we don't recognize this device. We're going to send a code to your phone. I'm like, that's not going to do us any good.
Yeah.
So there was just a lot of adapting.
And I'm sure there are a lot of people. So I think of our nephews that tell themselves the story that this is a fun experience learning about technology.
In fact, they get off on it because that's their identity.
That's their gig. That's their jam.
Anyone who was 10.
Let's explore this.
Yeah,
let's break this computer down.
This is my expertise. This is where I shine. I'll show you how this works.
And it's the story that they're telling themselves, because that's the discomfort they lean into.
And it's exploration. However, you tell those same people, you know what, why don't you sit down and have a conversation with someone in person? They're like, nope, can't do it. I'll text them.
Why don't you try to figure out somebody?
Well, yeah, why don't you ask a girl on a date? Nope. Not doing that.
Ask her to prom.
Yeah, nope. We'll go in a group.
How about I text my friend to text her?
Yeah. So that's
So
the story they're telling themselves.
So that's their dark room.
Yes.
And so a lot of us have the dark room, or that closed mindset about technology. So where is that? And where is that growth, that incremental discomfort that we can just step into a little bit day after day, so we can continue to just have that growth and improvement?
I think it comes down to maybe early on, when technology was moving so quickly, we at some point got frustrated, because we were kind of the guinea pigs on how all of this is developing. And sometimes we heard our parents say, you know what, the typewriter was better. I just liked it when I had a phone that was connected to the wall so that I could hear clearly. And now we've got these damn cell phones and these damn towers that are out here, and they're
giving everybody cancer,
cluttering up God's nature.
This fax machine will never be around for long. No sense in getting it or learning it.
Where's the whiteout? Why can't I just white this out? Yeah, and so that passed on, and all of a sudden our generation was like, you know what, Mom, Dad, we can help you. So we were helping them with VCRs and DVDs. Oh my God, when DVDs came, and they were like, what do you mean there's no commercials? Yeah. This is too good to be true. I'm skeptical of this.
How am I going to know what's on sale? I won't know till Sunday when the paper comes.
You mean I can watch Dallas at any time, any day of the week?
No commercials?
Right? And so, you know what? Just turn it to my game show. I'm better off with my game show network.
Yeah.
So we heard that almost that complaining, and then we've adopted. We have adopted some of those beliefs, and we're just carrying them down. And it wasn't until the generation, what do they call themselves? Generation X or millennials that came up and
Generation
said,
Tech.
you know what? I can figure this out for you. And that's how they got attention. Because all of a sudden they're like, wow.
I knew how to reprogram that.
That was amazing, Trevor. Can you do that with grandma's computer
Yeah,
and
when you're
dad's
6
computer?
and 7 years old and you're reprogramming things.
And now all of a sudden he has an identity.
You're taking code in school.
Of being a smart, genius, good with technology.
Appreciated, loved.
I mean, he's getting everything there. So there is something there.
What you appreciates.
Oh my gosh. I mean, these are all basic things. But anyway, so back to the phone. We are adapting. And in that adapting, you are outside your comfort zone, or what we like to call the stretch zone. And in that stretch zone, there is some growing pains. Am I correct?
Yeah. But just like we talked about at the very beginning, the more you play with it, the more you're in it, just like a glove, it gets comfortable the more you do it.
And that's the secret, is in a growth mindset, is to make the uncomfortable comfortable, to make the abnormal normal. This can be your new normal.
And just tell yourself the story that it's enjoyable, that it's fun, that it is exploration. And there's not pain, it's different.
Mm-hmm. It's different.
And what if? Go back to the what if. And if something goes wrong, so what?
And you can always lean on, I am going to figure this out.
And I'm learning.
If
you're learning, understanding that you don't know it all, the more we figure out, or the more we know that we don't know. I mean, It's just incredible. And it's beautiful because it allows more space for exploration and more space to just enjoy life and be curious.
So for the next week or so, if you don't hear from me,
you'll be hearing from us.
If you see thumbnails with no pictures, that's because I haven't figured out how to use the camera
yet. Trying to just
figure
it out. We're leaning in, but we are still living lucky, and you are too. So thanks so much for being with us.
Give us a little grace. Love you guys. Bye-bye. If the idea of living lucky appeals to you, visit us at startlivinglucky.com.